Hey everyone, welcome back to another Abbott Racing training video. Today we are talking about the very controversial Nike Next Percent. These guys right here, which I guess makes this more of a gear review video. Let's get into it. So as triathletes, should we care about the Nike Next Percent? I know there's a lot of talk in the running community currently about this shoe, but we're not runners, we're triathletes. So what role does the Nike Next Percent play in our sport? So I asked this question to Dr. Todd Buckingham, who has a little bit of experience running pretty fast, and this is what he had to say about these shoes.
Yes. Next question.
Unequivocally, yes.
I mean, absolutely. These things are so much better than everything on the market right now. If you want to go faster, you should wear the Next Percents.
Well, okay, there you go. Job done. We'll see you next time. No, but seriously, let's break this down a little bit more. So let's break down the two main things that people like to give these shoes a hard time for. The first is cost. They cost $250.
Wait, those shoes cost how much?
It's $250.
No, absolutely not. No way.
So yeah, they're expensive. But let's break that down in comparison to some of the other things that we as triathletes like to buy. So if you look at a set of new race wheels, let's say the Zip NSW wheels, those can run almost $4,000 brand new. And then if you look at the ultimate marginal gain purchase that all of us triathletes love to have, a full ceramic speed drivetrain, that can run almost $12,000. And then something as simple as a good aero helmet can be almost as much money as these shoes. And all of those have benefits that are relatively on par, some a little bit more, some a little bit less, to these shoes. So are they expensive? Yes, but I strongly believe that they're a good investment, especially for those of us who are looking for that competitive edge, somebody who's trying to get a PR, trying to go just as fast as possible. These are definitely a worthwhile investment. The next thing that people like to give these shoes a hard time for is their durability. They are not very durable. The shoes will last you about 100 to 150 miles at most, which is not very long, I will admit. But again, let's break that down a little bit. These are the previous generation of the Next Percent. These are the 4%. Now, I ran just about every single race last year in these shoes, and that totaled a training run when I first got them to make sure that they were okay, a 25K running race, 3 sprint triathlons, and 3 half Ironmans. So all told, all of my season was done in these shoes, and I came to 70 miles. So if you assume that these will last you 150 miles, these shoes that did an entire season would still have a whole season left to go. So overall, are they expensive? Yeah, but I really believe they're a good value when they come to cost to performance. And do they have some durability issues? As a trainer, yeah, absolutely, they're not very good. As a racing shoe that is only worn for those special events, they're fine, and they'll last you potentially up to 2 years. So with those 2 points out of the way, let's get back to Dr. Todd Buckingham and hear a little bit more about how these shoes work and why they're so amazing.
That's a good question. It's not necessarily that you're going to be running 4% faster, but you will use, on average, 4% less energy to run a certain speed. So it will just make that speed feel a lot easier. So your heart rate will be decreased at the same speed. But no, you will not go 4% faster. Anybody can benefit from the Next Percent, regardless of how fast you're going. And it could be even more beneficial for someone who's running slower because your form might not be as good. The shoe is gonna help you get more of that energy returned from the foot to forward movement. So for example, like you said, somebody who's running a 68-minute half marathon, their form and their efficiency is probably gonna be pretty good. So they might not need all of the benefits that the 4% or the next percent give. However, somebody who is less efficient is going to benefit a lot from the next percent because their form is not as good. They're not getting that same energy return, so they're using more energy to run the same distance as somebody who is running faster. Well, the shoe is actually going to help even that gap. It would kind of be like somebody who's a really good swimmer and somebody who's not. Well, wearing a wetsuit, both of them wearing a wetsuit, it will be better for the person who's not a good swimmer because it will help improve their body position and they will be able to gain relatively more ground than the person who is a good swimmer in the wetsuit. So think of the next percent as like a wetsuit for your foot.
Last question. Todd, are you sure you're not sponsored by Nike? I'm not paying you to say this.
Man, I wish I was sponsored by Nike because then I would get a free pair of these things all the time. But no, I'm not sponsored by Nike. I have no affiliation with Nike. And honestly, I just think that the science is there for them. It's the only, maybe not the only, but the most researched shoe in history, and it's for good reason. I mean, it even says right on here, measured in the lab, verified with medals and records. Like there's no denying that this shoe is fast.